Pablo Torre finds out. He brings on at Flemfile, David Fleming, author. He works for Meadowlark Media, which is the Dan Lebertard show and Pablo Torre's group. And he said that an NFL scout gave him a comp and or comparison for Caleb Williams. And it is the most insane, unhinged, wonderful thing I have heard for a comp, maybe ever.
And I reached out to a guy who's really well-connected, a former scout, really well-connected across the NFL with GMs and front offices, and I was blown away by his reaction.
What did the scout tell you that you can report?
I hated it. Hated it. He would scare the shit out of me if I was working for a team. Raw emotion is great, but Caleb's thing, that was ridiculous to me. That threw up major red flags. You just lost a game in the middle of your fucking season, and it was like your third loss in the Pac-12, and you went hugging on mommy and crying in mommy's arms, and it just seems really freaking weak and nuts. And I will tell you, he scares the shit out of a lot of NFL teams, too. The book on him is he's just kind of a weird kid. One GM told me it's like if Prince played quarterback.
So now we've gone from body language Olympics to he's too emotional, and now it's if Prince played quarterback, which you're talking about one of the greatest musicians of all time playing quarterback.
No, I
which
think
all
they're
I can
talking
think
about
of
the
is
personality, just like game
blouses. Yes, and yes, Caleb Williams, he is a little weird. He's
a lot weird.
He is eccentric.
Yeah,
but guess what? A lot of hey guys, what's Aaron Rodgers doing right now?
Yeah,
Tom Brady, TB12, eating weird foods and alkaline water. Russell Wilson, Mr. Unlimited. Let's run down the list of bat-ass crazy weird quarterbacks.
Okay,
they all are.
With two of those guys though, their sickness is with just like trying to be the best athlete that they can be. Like Brady and Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson is insufferable at times. Mm-hmm. Let's be great. Let's be great. Let's be great. But one thing that is undeniable is that he is just like maniacal with his performance and body type stuff, right?
Caleb is too.
Brady was the same thing. Brady, every guy though that like Brady played with said, to a man, he's a dude. Mm. Aaron Rodgers, same thing.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers is like, he is a weirdo.
Yeah.
But his teammates, like when
they all ride for him
on the practice field and during game time, it's because he's so damn good. Mm-hmm. But they separate themselves when you leave the facility, just like Aaron's family did.
Wow.
That's not wrong. But when you talk about Caleb Williams, like we talked to him twice at Pac-12 Media Day. And he was like, yeah, I just go home and just game.
Yeah.
Like that's all I do. And for NFL guys, this is the reality of what Fleming, even though it is pretty asinine to just be like, okay, that's going to scare you off. That's how they think, mm-hmm. is that
they're trying to find anything wrong.
Well,
at this point,
the emotional mm-hmm. person, being emotional is the worst thing you can be in a locker room to some people. Like that is... You cannot have emotions take over. If they have an emotion, it's anger. Anger is okay. Anything else is not. And really, Caleb Williams is like the first, like this. Well, I guess you could go to last year too, and last year's draft class of being like these first guys that they're the TikTok kids. Mm-hmm. They're the social media kids. They're the internet gamer kids that are growing up and like that's their life that they're coming into and now they get to the NFL. It was only a matter of time until we had a quarterback who, will paint his nails, do nothing but be a gamer. The crying to his mom thing, mm-hmm. when that happened, it was like, there's going to be people in the NFL that absolutely hate this.
Yeah, you and I talked about that when it happened off air.
They will
I didn't
hate it.
I 100%. I just didn't care. It wasn't because it's my guy or because he's at SC. It just, I didn't care. Like, it just... Maybe because of being around it now, like
you want your guy to be a robot,
cold, emotionless, because those are the things you can control. When you can control those variables, you know that's how that works.
Like as we talk about all those guys that you mentioned, right? We have like Aaron Rodgers,
relax,
right?
Mm-hmm.
What's the criticism of Russell Wilson? He's a robot.
Yeah.
Right? Right?
He's not real.
The emotion that Brady always had was he was always pissed off. And those are all things that the old school thinking, old school football guys, like, that's what we want. We want a robot. We want a guy who's just never going to panic and never going to react in a way that we feel will hurt the other guys around us. And anger doesn't do that. I'm pretty sure science will tell you anger does.
Yeah, sure.
Anger does affect a lot of people around you in a negative way.
Some
but
people do,
in the
some
world
people
of
act
football, it is
normal.
Normalcy.
I mean, again, I don't ever compare anything to wartime or anything like that, but that's one of the things when you do talk about the comparisons of football and the physicality is that the locker room and how things go about are similar to the barracks. There's similarities you can draw to the raw anger, the outward physicality, like those, the things that they call toxic masculinity, which shut up. But those things that can be harnessed. But it's also interesting when you're talking about Caleb Williams, the Chicago Bears, instead of having their executives meet with him, had him go out with DJ Moore and Cole Kmet and go like be with the boys
to see if he can be a dude.
Yeah.
Because that was when we heard those rumblings at the end of USC season that like teammates were like, he's not a leader. Like he just is our best player.
He was at USC preparing to be an NFL quarterback. That's what he was doing.
And that, like, at that point, you sit there and I like what the Bears did. Send him out with the leaders of the team to see how they get along with them. And there's no doubt he will get along with those guys, especially in the first
season
meeting with them, right? Like everything is gonna be okay. I think that line of thinking by NFL GMs and that scout, I don't doubt that scout heard those things from executives and like those are his thoughts because that's the way a lot of those guys do. They do think. But here's the other thing that those guys that are stuck in that mentality fail to realize is that
he's not the only one.
Every other guy on that roster outside of like the late 20s, early 30s guys on the roster, which are a lot. All of those guys grew up the same way.
They relate more to him. Like not only is Caleb Williams a different cat. Have you heard Marvin Harrison Jr. talk?
Yep, Marvin Harrison
That's
Jr.,
a different cat.
He walks to the beat of his own drum.
And again, coming full circle, when you're talking about wide receivers, there's a reason why I lean towards Roma Dunze.
Yeah, just be a dude. Just be a dude.
And I'm kind of even siding with a little bit of that with that GM here.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, but also I look at Caleb and go, the weird translated.
Yeah. But I don't know. You watch quarterbacks on Netflix. Patrick Mahomes is a weird dude too.
Yes. He
sounds like Kermit the Frog. But you know what? If you play well and you can relate to guys, even on the surface level, what you need to do is inside that facility on Sundays, that's the most important thing. If you can get through that and he doesn't alienate his teammates, that is exactly where you need to thrive being the quarterback. And having a guy that can galvanize everybody outside of the locker room and outside the team facility, that is the cherry on top. And that will be the next step in his growth. But everything about Caleb Williams to this point has been manufacturing an NFL quarterback. That's like his dad's number one goal. It is like the successful version of Todd Marinovich.
Yes, without the overbearing, assaulting father.
Yeah, he just hired other people to be,
his trainers.
Indeed.